Hey guys, are you ready to hear some r/ProRevenge stories? Read by me, Red? Yep. Okay, let's go. Half-brothers threatened to sue me over $16,000. It cost them $158,000 and possibly their parents' marriage. When I was 3, my grandparents passed away. They set up a savings account in my name. The account was meant to be accessed by me when I was 21. At that point, it contained just over $300,000. I never had full siblings, but I have 2 half-brothers, Mac and Joe Smith, who are dad and stepmom's kids. Due to the specific wording my grandparents used, I legally never had to give Mac or Joe any money. However, I see Mac and Joe as my brothers, and as the money came from our grandparents, I felt that the fairest thing would be to assign each of us $100,000, so we got an equal-sized lump sum. And I figured that when Mac, the youngest, turned 21 and took his $100,000, we could split any remaining money. When I turned 21, Dad suggested I buy a house with my $100,000. I found a place I loved, but it was $130,000 and I couldn't get a mortgage. So Dad said I should have borrowed $30,000 from the account. I did, figuring I could pay back before my brothers turned 21, and I've been repaying it. The account should be at $208,000 right now, but due to me withdrawing and then repaying that money, it's at $195,000, so I still owe $13,000. Joe turned 21 recently, and as I was giving him his $100,000, Joe noticed there was less in the account than there should be. I explained and said I was going to put it back before Mac, now 19, turns 21. Joe told Mac, and both boys said I stole from them and owed them the full $13,000 back, plus $3,000 of interest that they felt they would have gotten. And they wanted it all paid by this summer, which gave me less than 6 months to bring the account up to $211,000. I said I'd do it, but over 2 years, as planned. The boys then wrote up a contract to that effect. I went to sign it until I saw that it said 6 months to pay it all back. I wouldn't sign as we agreed on 2 years. They said I should figure it out as they were entitled to that money and would be seeking legal advice. Later that day, I got an email, clearly written by them, saying that they intend to sue me for the $16,000 plus whatever is currently in the account and additional damages and emotional distress on top of that. At this point in time, I'd given Joe about $50,000 of his $100,000 because he wanted it in installments. I responded that legally they were never entitled to any of it, and given their attitudes, I'd say they'd already received an amount I deemed fair, so the $50,000 was all they were getting. Then I got a barrage of texts, calls, and emails yelling at me for going back on our deal. I blocked them. They then took to social media saying that I was trying to screw them out of their inheritance and rallying our extended family into harassing me over this. And it mostly worked as a lot of people messaged me. However, I got a message from this guy called Chris Smith. Chris said he was 27 and claimed to be my half-brother. I'd never met him before, but he sent me photos of him as a kid with our dad, grandparents, and me. He showed me that he also had an account with $150,000 in it, and a scan of a letter from our grandparents saying this money was meant to be shared fairly among Dad's illegitimate children. Chris also told me we have another half-sibling who is 18. He'd been looking for me for a while, but only found me when Dad shared Joe's post, which had me tagged. We checked in with a solicitor to make sure, and as the boys are legitimate, they aren't entitled to anything in Chris's illegitimate kid fund. And as they are my half-siblings, they aren't entitled to anything in my Smith-Jones Kids Fund. I sent the boys a letter formally telling them to back off, stop posting about me online, and enjoy the $50,000 because that's all they're getting. The day they received the letter, Chris got a PM from Dad asking if the boys can have some of Chris's fund. Chris also said no and told Dad we'd met. I told Mac and Joe about Chris and our other half-sibling with Chris's permission. So, it looks like my grandparents, knowing about Chris before they passed, set up 2 funds. One for the kids Dad had with my mother, who was still his wife when they passed, and one for children born out of Dad's affairs, presumably to make sure no one tried to screw anyone else over out of hurt feelings. I'm getting a lot of crap, but I'm holding firm on my decision. The boys have realized that I won't back down on this, and it sounds like I've caused a schism at their house, as Joe has all the money and no intention of sharing, so Mac is now feeling twice as screwed. Plus, stepmom apparently did not know about the other half-siblings, or that my half-sister was born after she and Dad got married. And and she made Dad move into a hotel. It sounds like Dad is looking for a long-term living arrangement outside of the family home because it looks like she's not letting him move back in. That is begging me to reconsider, but honestly, I'm done with all of them except Chris and my sister. What? Your dad is not good at keeping it in his pants, hey? Your grandparents are really smart though, and it sounds like you're really, really smart with money as well. So, good luck with your life, but oh my god, that sucks. Okay, here's the next story. Gonna segregate the bathroom? Okay, say goodbye to your toilet. My dad was working with a contractor on a residential remodel. Oftentimes, one of the responsibilities of the plumber is to supply a temporary job toilet so that employees have a place to use the bathroom. About a week after he installed the job toilet, he came back to find a lock on it. He asked the foreman about it, and the foreman said, "We've been having issues with people leaving the bathroom stinky and dirty, so we're limiting the people who have access. But I made a key for you. Here." Well, my dad began to notice something. Every white person on the job site had a key, and not a single Hispanic person had one. This rubbed him the wrong way, so he came up with a plan. He digged around the job site until the foreman went home. "Make sure you lock up when you're done." All that stuff. He did lock up, but not before he removed the toilet, threw it on his truck and took it home. A few days later, he showed back up to the job site, and another job site toilet had been installed. The kicker? It was my dad's toilet that he had installed at another job for the same contractor. So he took that one as well. The foreman was not pleased, to say the least. So he called his boss, the contractor, who called my dad, understandably angry that not one, but two of his job sites were without a toilet. My dad says, "I think me, you, and foreman all need to sit down and have a meeting." So they set up a meeting. My dad sits down and explains the situation and says, "My toilets ain't gonna be used for no segregated bathrooms." Well, as it turns out, the contractor had no idea what the foreman was up to, and he didn't know the foreman had robbed a toilet from another job site that he wasn't managing. Apparently, the look he gave the foreman was priceless. He told my dad that there won't be any more problems of this sort, and the foreman got taken off all my dad's jobs and fired shortly thereafter. My dad reinstalled the toilets once the locks had been taken off the door. I really don't get this kind of discrimination. I really don't get it. It's like drawing an arbitrary line and saying, you can't walk on this side, but I can. It's not like the color of our skin dictates what kind of person we are. So, I don't know. I just really think this mentality is so stupid. Why would you limit yourself from having access to all those wonderful people by saying, "Oh, I don't like people who don't look like me"? It's sad for people who are like that, because they've limited themselves so much. There's so many amazing people out there, and I would love to meet as many as possible. Why would I limit myself to a specific group? It's really sad. It's really, really sad and pathetic. I hope you guys enjoyed those r/ProRevenge stories, read by me, Red. Please give the video a like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell notification thingy as well, so that you can be notified every time I post a video, which is every day. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good rest of your day.